Hey, collective. All right. So, this reading I have been putting off for so long because it just seemed like it was going to be too spooky. But we are coming up on Halloween, so why not do it today? So, the first card that came out was about something being found in water, and immediately I felt like we were talking about a person. So, we did some clarifying, of course. Now, I don't claim to know all the ins and outs of everything. However, I am observing what does seem to be like a crime scene. Um and it involves a person who is in love with someone else. All right, so the way that I was being shown this story is because it is somewhat of a cautionary tale. It goes back to that macro level discussion from before where I said that the new relationships right now, there is a lot at stake. And because there's a lot at stake, it goes on both ends. So you could be attracting um a high profile person who is in a high vibrating state or a low vibrational state. And with that comes with experiences, consequences, whatever you want to call it. And you are going to have to use your gifts, specifically your gift of discernment, to navigate these spaces, okay? Because even if you remain physically 100% safe, there could be other threats that you could be unaware of, all right? So I'm saying that like that for the people that need to hear it and understand. Try not to make it, too scary one way or the other, but it just is what it is. All right. So there is someone who it looks like they were set up to be like in a car accident. Um, and it could have been a storm at the time. Like that could also be a part of what this water thing is. But I'm also seeing like it being in two different scenes to where there is like a cabin of something, a remote cabin like in the woods, but then there's also like, and it could have been like swampy, or there are a lot of water. It's a lot of water, or very moist. Something about it just being like gross. Okay, like I don't know how to describe how else I'm seeing it. Just gross. All right, and then there's something else about um this person being en route to, I want to say, said partner. Um, but they may have been poisoned on the way. And by poison, that could be alcohol poisoning. That could be, someone using alcohol as like the main conduit or whatever, but there's something else in there that's untraceable. So this person may have been overly intoxicated, or maybe there was something going on with their like own personal prescription, but it sent them into like a sudden cardiac arrest. And then on top of that being a car accident. But I don't know if those details are widely known or if that is something that they try to hide. Something about that part being very messy. Um, like I'm also hearing it was not an accident, because there were some other details to this. So on one hand, I'm talking about a car accident. On another hand, I'm talking about something that was in a swampy area, a remote cabin or woods. There was like duct tape or rope left. I don't know who this is. I don't know if this is something that already happened, if this is like been a headline story, or if this is, just has more of spiritual connection to right now, but there is something about like there being okay. They staged some type of accident, all right? And it's almost like they're trying to even rule it as like a suicide, which would be crazy because, like I just mentioned, what was going on. So that could have been what was happening because there's also something about like the case could be being reopened right now, or they're looking at some new evidence and it has to do with something else that's happening. But initially, whoever this person was, because this could be male or female, who was in the car accident or who was found in the woods in water, but they were a part of like, they were in a relationship with someone who's extremely jealous. Okay. This was done out of like revenge. They could have been being surveilled by their spouse, their partner, whatever, who was also like their last witness. Um, they could have, it could have felt as though the victim may have known too much in some way. So, or they would have known too much, or their body would have revealed too much. But there's something about like the evidence being withheld. All right. There are even medical records that have been concealed. And on top of all of that, there was like either a mistrial or something didn't go to trial. And they found gunshot residue. So I mentioned there being like evidence being withheld, and it's like gunshot residue because they found a silencer. Okay, this is very crazy. The silencer and all of that has to do with like the cabin is what I'm picking up on. And then like the vehicle situation is like, it was like the perfect, what did they say? The perfect, it was like too perfect. Something about like the vehicle situation was too perfect. This is also how that other person could like just be describing it. They could have even boasted in a weird chilling way about what happened. This person who ordered this or did this, whatever, they have very narcissistic tendencies or a personality, obviously, right? But there is something about them being extremely addicted to control, and then being a charismatic liar. Okay, so there could also be some history about them having like rage blackout kind of history. They could also make their partners feel like watched in some way. So it does feel like they did this out of revenge, but it was like out of anger as well, obviously. Someone could have seen them and this person together, and there was like a witness who changed their story, or this is them who they changed their story about what happened or where they were. It's some type of conflict in their timeline. Something could have happened around 2:22 in the afternoon that has to do with these witnesses, but the phone records reveal the truth. So whatever the victim has on their phone is actually what happened. If they were to collect the phone of like the said perpetrator, something about it would not be corroborated. There is something about an online situation. It could be a cyber attack leading to death, or there could be like an exchange of like angry words over something that they saw online. But social media does leave a trail as far as like what they could have been seeing. They could have been following the victim as well online. Okay, so just be mindful of that. This is all being brought up because, again, the macro level story. So let me just take it back there for the people who are not following. This is not just okay, this is a spooky reading. Obviously, a crime was committed and it was out of revenge. As you continue to navigate this whole space where you are attracting new love into your life, and that soulmate is literally here or around the corner, be mindful of the different things that you are experiencing, the red flags that are showing their face, as far as personality traits and things that people are doing that may seem like endearing or sweet, but really are a source of, darkness in some way. Also about this whole situation, this could have happened during, I'm picking up on like the colder months. Okay, but that could be fall, that could be winter or spring, you know, because it is a little cooler in spring. So I don't know, but it does feel like wet and cold. I didn't see snow per se. And also about this date night situation, it does feel like there was something about it being, no, that this car accident had to do with like a date night. So I don't know if the victim was on the way to seeing their partner, or if the partner, if they were on the way to see each other, if they were leaving the partner, or, you know, leaving a date to go to the partner afterwards. You know, it's something about that, but like the partner is expectant or knows of something. Okay. And why they were able to make this go away so quickly is because they have some connection to the authorities. They know how to charm them in some way. The letters that I have here could be significant in some way to the situation or to the people involved. Z, O, L, and Y. Okay. This incident could have also happened during the twilight hours, so it was really, really late. But yeah, so that's kind of spooky. Yeah. All right. I feel like we'll just pause that for now. All right. I love you guys.